Hey, my fellow property managers, Mark Cunningham at Grace Property Management. As you are a property manager, you have potential owner leads contact your office, and sometimes they want you to manage their property. One important question we have to ask ourselves, especially right now with everything going on in the market, in the industry, is should we manage condos? And by condos, yes, I mean condos, I mean townhomes, I mean small multi-family projects versus the idea of single family. And it's a very important distinction to make that there is a big and a number of big differences between managing a single family, 3-bed, 2-bath house, backyard garage versus a condo, townhome, 1 unit in a multiplex. So let me just share some thoughts to help you bring some clarity to this question that you have to answer on a daily basis as leads coming in to your office. I'll share some pros and cons of each, and I'll share some actual numbers from us to show you the breakdown, because you should be tracking this, the breakdown between single family homes you manage versus condos and what those average rental rates are in my market, so you can use that data to help you in your market. So here's what you need to understand first of all. Big picture. Let's pull back from a big picture perspective here. If I have 2 boxes, and each of these boxes are 100 properties that you get to manage, and you don't know anything about the properties inside of these boxes other than this. In box A is 100 single family homes. That's all you know. In box B is 100 condos / townhomes. Which one do you want to manage, knowing nothing else? Now, if you are of halfway intelligence, you would pick the single family box because you know, whether you've thought about it or not, you know that condos and townhomes come with a lot of additional challenges, and let me share some of those here with you, that single family homes don't come with as much. For example, you have more turnover. People that rent condos, townhomes move more often than do single family homes. Why? Because the people in single family homes, they want the backyard for their dog and their kids. They want the 3 bedrooms, and they want the basement to store all their junk. They don't want to move real often. Who moves into a 1-bedroom condo? A single person who may be looking to move in the future, whether it's a job change or a life event that way. You've got more neighbors in condos and townhomes. They have a ceiling with people above it. You've got 2 walls with people on both sides. You've got another floor with people below you. You're managing neighbors. People are being loud. They're playing music. Maybe your person's calling to complain about the neighbors. Maybe the neighbors are calling to complain about your person, but you have more neighbors you have to deal with. You've got more water leaks. This shouldn't be the case, but it is. You've got water pipes running on both sides, above you and below you, that aren't yours. They aren't in control. So when one of those water pipes breaks, which always happens to be the unit above us, it's hard to get a hold of the owner of the property above us and to get that fixed, get a hold of the HOA, which leads to the next one there, HOA interference. You also have HOAs which are monitoring these properties, and what we found over time is HOAs typically aren't as friendly to tenant-rented units as they are to owner-occupied units. So you've got that challenge to deal with. They are harder to rent, at least in our market and in many, many markets, because there's so much new construction, and the new construction is typically the Class A multifamily properties. So your little 1-bed, 2-bedroom condo townhome unit has to compete for tenants against the brand new, shining, gleaming construction that has a weight room and a gym and a dog park and all the amenities that come with that. And then lastly, they're typically lower income. The rental rates are just lower on a condo townhome as compared to single family homes. So we know it is harder to manage one condo as compared to one single family home. It just is. That's a fact. Not only is it harder and it takes you more time, but at the end of the day, you're making less money for it. You're working harder and making less. My friends, that is not a good long-term recipe for success. So let me give you a couple recommendations, because we have to be realistic. You can't just turn away business always when business wants you, especially if you're a growing company. If it's hard to bring on new doors, you think, Mark, well, I'm just happy to get what I get. Are you kidding me? I can't turn away a condo, and I understand that. But let me give you a couple recommendations to at least help you approach the leads that come into you with a little bit more accessibility, with a little bit more of a understanding of the properties that you want and maybe you don't want that way. More of a perspective. That's the word I was confused with there. A better perspective that way. So recommendation number 1, you need to have a higher standard when it comes to condos, townhomes. Why? Because of all of these things right there. You need to make sure that it shows very, very well. You need to make sure that it's newer and it's not dilapidated. You need to make sure that the complex is well maintained by the HOA, or else you're going to get blamed from your tenants because the HOA didn't mow the lawn. Raise your standard, raise your bar on accepting a potential property to manage if it's a condo/townhome. Secondly, you need to know your average rental rate. This is so important, and it's one of the things that oftentimes we as property managers overlook, and here's why it's important. If you know that your average rental rate, let's say, is $2,000. That's our average rental rate here for our company in Denver. The average property we manage is $2,000. That means if we bring on a new property, condo, townhome, single family, any type of a property, and that rental rate is less than $2,000, it is pulling us backwards. It is a step in the wrong direction for growing our company and managing higher quality properties. Now, that's not necessarily wrong. I'm not saying if your average rental rate is $2,000, you shouldn't manage anything less than that, but you should know that if you're going to take on a property that is less than your average, there should be a good reason to do so. So what I say to my team is, guys, our average rental rate's $2,000. If we bring on a property less than $2,000, my question to you is simply this: why did we bring this on? And I don't mean that in a manipulative way. I want to know, why did we bring this on? Now, maybe your answer is, well, Mark, it's a great owner and the property is 2 miles away and it's going to be easy to rent. And I'll say, okay, great, good job. Maybe you say, well, it's an existing owner. They've got a number of properties. They're just adding this to their portfolio. Okay, great. But there has to be a reason. It can't be a, well, I don't know. I don't even have a good feeling about this one at all. But it's another door to throw into our portfolio. You want to be moving your average rental rate higher over time, not backwards. But to do that, you have to start by knowing your average rental rate. So track that. Use that as a filter. Know your average rental rate, and then when a lead comes in, the very first thing you should think is this going to move me forward? Is this going to push up my average rental rate of the portfolio I manage? Or is it going to pull me backwards into a lower quality property on average? On average. Now, before I share with you recommendation number 3, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Reconcile Daily. Reconcile Daily is an accounting firm that helps me as property management companies ensure that our trust accounting is correct. If you've fallen behind on your trust account balances that you're supposed to be doing legally over a month-by-month balance, you need to reach out to Reconcile Daily. If you're not sure if you're legally compliant in the way you're handling your trust account and you're balancing and the 3-way reconciliation makes your head spin, my friends at Reconcile Daily can help you with that. These are not only property managers, they're CPAs. They understand the way this process works. Jump on their website. I know these guys. You can trust them. They're sharp. They're CPAs. They know their stuff. They can help you ensure that you're compliant legally, that you're not going to get yourself in trouble, and that all the money is accounted for that way. So reach out to them. Recommendation number 3, practice a dynamic pricing model. When you get busy, and we're recording this in July. It's busy for all of us in July. So if a lead comes into my office, and it's July, and we're busy, and we've got a lot of other leads coming in, we've got a lot going on, and it's a condo, it's a 1-bed, 1-bath condo that's going to be a little bit harder to rent, and I'm not excited about it. Part of town isn't that great, and I still want to grow my company. The rental rate's less than my average. I think, well, I'll still take it. Practice a dynamic pricing model. Charge accordingly for your services. We talked earlier about all of the additional challenges and difficulty it's going to require of you as a professional property manager. Therefore, you should be compensated for that. It is riskier to manage those types of properties. There might want to be a risk premium that you charge for that. Your time is valuable. You only have so many slots that you can accept properties in. Don't think to yourself, well, Mark, I've got more open slots than I can count. I know that, but you still need to grow your company wisely. So practice a dynamic pricing model, charge accordingly and charge appropriately for what you bring onto your property. Now let me show you some actual numbers from our portfolio on the percentage of properties we manage overall, categorically, what category they're in, what percentage are single family, condos, multifamily, and the average rental rate in those. It'll just help you gauge, and you should be tracking this for yourself. So for example, for us, single family homes represent 55% of our overall portfolio. Now I wish it was 100. I wish it was. It's not. We still are going to manage some other types of properties. But you ideally, depending on what your market is, you want that over 50%. You want half of your portfolio to be that way. And the average rent for us on our single family homes is just over $2,500, almost $2,600. Townhomes represent 16% of our portfolio, average rental rate $2,200. Condos represent 23%. Whew, that's a big number. 23% of our overall managed portfolio are condos, and that means like a 1 unit in a condo complex. We don't do multifamily. And that the average rental rate is $1,688. Now, multifamily for us means like 6 units or less. I think the biggest property we have is maybe 10 units. So we don't do a whole lot of multifamily, but that represents 6%. And the average rental rate, now look at that difference in the average rental rate. Over $1,000 difference from our average multifamily property to our average single family. $1,000 difference in average rent. Meaning, if my management fee is based upon a percentage of income, which it is for us, that's a huge discrepancy in the income we're making, and it's a huge discrepancy in the amount of work we're putting out. We put out twice as much work on this property as this one, and what do we show for that? Less income. So you need to make sure you're building your business wisely for that. Hey, my friends, how else can I help you? Jump on our website, pmbuild.com. By the way, we are about a month away from our next Visit Grace. I believe we have 1 spot still open. If you want to come out and visit me in Denver and have us show you how to run a successful property management company, jump on our website, check that out. We're going to open up registration in another week for, I believe it'll either be November or December, our final Visit Grace event of the year. If you'd like to get on the list, jump on the website, PM Build, go to our events tab, email me, I'll put you on that waiting list. We can get you a spot to come out and visit me, spend 2 days with me and my team in Denver. Until next time, my friends, and as always, I wish you success.